Yeah, welcome to another Wayno's Photos videos, and I'm going to continue my series in how I shoot my Lotus. And I'm just heading up to Yanchep National Park, which is probably maybe 50 to 70 kilometres north of Perth, and it's a beautiful spot. And I'm just going to get up there and try some new types of shots that I haven't tried before and see if they work out. So come along with me and I'll show you how I capture my Lotus for my Instagram feed. Well, me being me took the fun route, which has a few turns here and there, on the way up to Yanchep National Park. And I come a bit unstuck because this is a B road and there's some work being done on it, and they've closed the road, and I'm only about 3 kilometres out from the Yanchep National Park, and there's a pile of dirt further up the road, so I can't get through. So I was back in the car, do a U-turn and do about another 10 kilometres to get up there. I've just got my other camera set up over there near the bush, and I've got on crop sensor mode because I'm trying to make my 85 to be about 105. So when you go to the crop censored mode, you get that extra reach. And I'm trying to get part of the tree and part of the shot. So we'll see how that turns out. So I'm just going to walk over there and get my GoPro on, and I'll get that camera happening. Okay, so what I've done here, as you can see, I've got the car, I've got it on the crop sensor, so I can see part of the bush on the left hand side of the tree, and I've cropped in, so I've got about 105, so the 85mm will look like about 105 millimeter. I've got it at f2.2, ISO 200 at 125. I like using a tripod so you can use like a slower speed. And I've also got the filter on, so I've got lower ISO and I've got a lower speed that gives you the sensor then gets a little bit more light, it's a little bit more contrast in the picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set on my bracketing. If you watched my last video, I talked about that. What it is it's a picture at the normal exposure, a picture overexposed and a picture underexposed. So when you get back and you do your editing, you can actually pick one that you like the best for the exposure, so you don't have to be so critical when you're on site to get the right exposure. So let's just do that, and we'll just get that exposure compensation, there it is, and then we just set that there. I don't know if you can see that on the GoPro, and then we go okay. So we've got that done, take it out of the menu. So when I press the button now, what it will do is it will take 3 shots. So let's just do that right now. Okay, so there we go. We've got all the 3 shots, and we can actually zoom in here. Let's have a look. Sorry, that was some old picture stuff, so we can have a look here. That looks pretty sharp. This one actually looks a little bit dark, but because of the exposure compensation, I can actually adjust that. So let's have a look at the other ones. There's one there. The other one is a bit lighter. That should be good. Should be able to bring that back. So there we go. And the next one, so that one's the brightest. So yeah, so that's looking good. Well, for those that are interested in a bit of history of West Australia, behind me we have Gloucester Lodge, and this is a historic building. And Yanchep, there is quite a few historic buildings in Yanchep National Park. And this one in particular had a swimming pool that was run by natural spring water from the creeks around here. And when I was a teenager, I actually did all my swimming lessons at this pool, but unfortunately now the pool has been closed down because there's not enough groundwater, because the groundwater's basically dropped, and also the lake at Yanchep really is not really like a lake anymore. The water's dropped quite low, but hopefully in the future the water will come back. The Water Corporation is actually putting recycled water back into the aquifer here in the Perth coastal plain, so hopefully the waters will come back in a lot of these beautiful lake areas that have a lot of flora and fauna. Yeah, for this shot, I've got the car just parked in this little nook here where there's a road just finishes, and there's some beautiful trees in the backdrop there. So what I'm going to try and do is use as shallow a depth of field as I can to try and separate the vehicle from the background to keep the blur a little bit on the trees so your eyes don't focus on that. And I'm going to get the camera as low as possible. As you can see, I've dropped the tripod to get this leading line of the curb heading towards the car. So let's see how that works out. Okay, so I'm just going to set my exposure compensation as I always do, just to make sure that I always get the right exposure. So let's just get out of the menu here, and as you can see, I can see the car. There's a little bit of sun on the screen, so it's a little bit hard to see. Okay, so let's just drop that aperture right down like I said I was going to. So let's get that up to, we can get that right down to 1.2. And of course we can obviously see it's massively overexposed now. So what we need to do is up the shutter speed. So get in there, about 250. Actually I might leave it 125. And then let's see if we can just drop that ISO down to 100. Okay, let's see how that looks like on our histogram at the top. Oh, we need to make it a little bit faster, so let's just take that to about 250. Okay, so there we go. There we go. So histogram looks pretty good now. Histogram looks pretty good. So let's just focus on the top of the wheel arch there. Okay, so put the focus on and let's just fire off a few shots. Not sure if I'm liking it so much. Maybe come over here more and put the bush in more of the middle of the car. Alright. Might just lower that speed a bit more to 125, see how that goes. Okay, that's good, I like that. A bit more of the sky. Well, that's my day shooting my Lotus up at Yanchep National Park. Well, I'm off to get something to eat now at the Yanchep Inn. So I hope you enjoyed my behind the scenes of how I shoot my Lotus. And if you have any questions about how I do that, just leave them down below. Or if you'd like me to do an editing video of how I edit them, just leave that down below as well. And remember to subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss any of my future videos on my Lotus cars. Cheers. Thanks for watching.